In this video training, we discuss the importance of why you as a practice need to know which consumer you are seeing at any given time of the day. Various people walk into the optometry practice every single day. Some of the people that come to your practice have been coming to your practice for years. Others are walking in for the very first time. What is critical for the optometric practice to thoroughly understand is who that particular individual is. How you treat the first-time visitor versus how you treat that individual who has been coming to your practice for 10, 15 years is going to be completely different. What we have noticed as a business is that many optometric practices don't have a clear category placement or classification of the various individuals or consumers that walk into the practices. What do we mean by that? Well, on the computer screen or the software that you are using or the patient files that you would refer to them as, all that is there is the patient information card as well as the test card. And if that person has been at the practice for multiple times, they will have multiple test cards within that file. What you do need is a classification and category placement card. That should be the first thing that an individual within the team pulls out. That gives you a clear indication of who that particular individual is. So what are the details that should be on this particular card? Whether it's a physical card that you have on your file or something that is under the patient or the various consumers on the computer software system that you are using. And the first thing that you need to indicate there is have different, so it's a card and divide it into different sections. The first section at the top would be first time visitor. And you would indicate whether it's a walk-in individual or a referral or someone who had initially made an appointment as a result of them looking up your practice on Google, on social media, whichever way you indicate the first-time visitor and how did that individual come about getting to make that appointment or even finding out about your guys' practice. Remember, if it's a referral, make sure that you are finding out who actually did the referral for that particular individual and call or send a message to say thank you for the referral of Mr. So-and-so. We highly value and appreciate the time that you have taken in sending or giving us or referring your colleague or your family member to us. We really, really appreciate it. So it's very, very important that you do follow up on those particular referrals. If it's a follow-up visitor, for example, that's the second column. If it's a follow-up visitor, you're indicating there, is it the second, the third, or the fourth eye exam or visitation that is taking place. Indicate if that particular individual is new to the practice or is coming from a different practice. Over and above that, you need to make sure that one of the most critical questions that you can ask that individual who is coming from a different practice is ask them how was their experience from the previous optometrist that they had seen and how long were they seeing that particular optometrist. And that's an opportunity for you to also indicate that that particular individual has been with the practice once before or second time, and then highlight the specific date that that person was there for. So it's giving you that snapshot of who that person is. Thirdly, the next column will then become spectacle wearer. Indicate if it's single vision, bifocals, or multifocals. Indicate if they're using more than one pair and what are the challenges that they have had with that particular pair of spectacles. So highlight that. If it's contact lenses, you're doing the same thing. Indicate the type of contact lenses that they're wearing, what brand they're using if they are aware, how often are they changing it. Remember, they could be using dailies, but not necessarily wearing their daily contact lenses every single day. So a 30 days might last for 60 days or 90 days might last for much longer because they're wearing their daily contact lenses every alternate day. So that card or the placement category sheet is giving you an indication of who that individual is. So going back to the column of the spectacle wearer, if that person, for example, has received two pairs of spectacles from you with the various coatings, indicate how much they spent the last time they were there. And if they're coming for the third time or the fourth time, indicate what is the average spend of that particular individual. Are they going for branded frames? Are they going for tints and coatings? And do the same tints and coatings go on the second pair of spectacles if they're taking 2 pairs of spectacles? Or do they have the main pair being the one that has got the various tints and coatings and the second pair being treated as a spare? Indicate any form of concerns that they had, highlighted there. Make sure that everyone who picks up that card can easily identify who this particular individual is. If it's a person who has become problematic in terms of payments, whatever the case may be over the years, indicate on that card. Indicate if it's one of your most valuable clients who has been loyal to the practice over time. It's very, very important that you're getting as much information that you possibly can about the respective consumer, but you're putting it on this card in a simplified manner, so that when a staff member picks up this particular card and someone has come in, make the appointment, you are easily in a position to say, wait a minute, Ndade Shabalala has been wearing this particular pair of spectacles for the last 3 years. The last time he was here, we gave him this, and there's an opportunity for us to upgrade him to what he actually needs, because last time there was an affordability component that he was not in a position to get that which we were recommending for him. So this time around, we're in a position to go back and revisit that conversation that we had with him initially about getting him the necessary coatings and tints on his pair of spectacles. And so let's make sure that this time we discuss his options that are available for him, which is very, very important for him in order to see as adequately as possible. So that's what the report card does. The challenge with optometric practices right now is that it's only the optometrist who knows this information. And also that optometrist that works in a particular practice does not go back to look at the history of that particular individual in terms of what has been the purchasing behavior, what has been the buying behavior of this particular individual over the years. A lot of times, optometric practices know that so-and-so has been coming to the practice for 10 years, but they don't know the spend, they don't know the buying behavior, they don't know exactly how often have we upgraded this individual, how often has this individual been getting better products, or are they staying on the same product? Has this particular individual been upgraded on the various tints that are available, on the various coatings that are available? And so the snapshot helps you to effectively then monitor each and every single individual more adequately, as opposed to how it has always been. You've got a locum in your practice, you're on maternity leave for the next 4 months, and so your locum is the one at the practice who's going to be seeing the patients or the customers or the clients in that 4-month period. It's going to be much easier when a locum picks up that file or report card and gets to see that, wait a minute, here's a summary of this particular individual that I'm about to see. This is what has been discussed with them before, and this is what I need to be discussing with them today. And this is where the upgrade opportunity exists for us to be able to effectively manage this individual. When you don't have this category or classification card, it makes life very, very difficult for you as a practice in identifying where are the key sales opportunities with every single individual that you are dealing with throughout the course of the day. And one of the things that you also have to indicate is, if it's a medical aid patient, indicate medical aid name, option that they are on, and what they normally spend from their medical aid. If it's a cash patient, you're doing the same thing. The form just gives you a snapshot of the consumer profile, which is very, very important, because then the more information you have about the individual, you then are in a position to know what you need to be communicating with this individual, what you need to be educating them on, what you need to be upgrading them on. And it helps you have more constructive communication with the respective individual. So this is a suggestion that we have for you guys. In our books, actually, we have an outline of this particular category and classification placement card that we are making reference to. But you can do it and customize it for your individual. Indicate it, especially with a lot of e-commerce platforms that are available right now, in terms of having your patient information cards on your website. And you can have a patient a patient page or a patient tab on your website where your patients have their own unique code that they access your website on, so that whenever they are communicating with the practice in terms of making appointments and so forth, that information about what is new or what they need, whatever it is pertaining to their visual needs, you are able then to have them populate that information on your website. If they are not doing it, your practice software should enable you to do exactly that, so that you can easily, when someone calls and makes their appointment via the telephone line, you can, as your staff member is on the phone with that particular individual, already at that stage, they are in a position to say, oh, sir, I see the last time you were with us was on this date. This is what we got. Are you coming in for the same thing? It's very, very important that you make the process as easy friendly as possible for the people that are coming into your practice. But most importantly, you want to ensure that your staff, your team, has got all the advantage that is necessary for them to have in making sure that when they are communicating with the respective consumers, they are on top of their game, they are confident, they're competent, and that they can excel in making sure that they take the consumer to the level that they want the consumer to be in. And that's how you go about simplifying the day-to-day approach with every single consumer. And once you have the necessary information pertaining to that individual, it's easy then for you then to manage them more effectively.